Welcome back to the Pick and Roll Podcast.
We actually recorded an episode a couple weeks ago that, I don't know if you saw on Instagram, audio issues, couldn't hear us. Hopefully this one is better.
Yeah.
Off-season's basically all but over, and summer league's over. This is the dead time in the NBA now, but before we get bored of everything, we're going to do our off-season grades. A lot of winners, a lot of losers. Hopefully our grades are different, so we can debate a little bit here.
We didn't discuss these beforehand at all.
Well, he wanted to, by the way. He's just yelling out his grades, and I'm like, be quiet, please, thanks.
Yeah.
Let's start out Atlanta Hawks.
Atlanta Hawks. Yeah.
They have added Allen Crabbe, Evan Turner, Chandler Parsons, Daniel Jones, and Jabari Parker. They drafted DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, and Bruno Fernando. They did lose Taurean Prince, Kent Bazemore, Dwayne Dedmon, and others, including Amari Spellman, which was confusing. They just drafted him, and he showed some upside, but they traded him to the Warriors, which I didn't really understand. But overall, I am going to give them a B.
That's exactly what I give them.
They didn't need to do anything special, obviously. They're rebuilding still, and they made the right moves. They had a great draft moving up to get DeAndre Hunter, even kept Cam Reddish on their table. And then they made a couple weird trades. Allen Crabbe, Evan Turner, don't really know what those are all about, but the draft really helped them for their future. And now they have a young core of Trae Young, John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish that could really do good.
Yeah, so I said they got Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter. Great bright spots for their future alongside Trae Young and John Collins and them. But they had to take on Solomon Hill's contract too, which really going to hurt them in free agency.
What?
I mean, they don't have any cap.
Or they don't have Solomon Hill anymore.
They don't?
No.
I thought they'd take on his contract.
No.
Oh, well.
You can read the next one. Boston
Celtics, they added Kemba Walker and Enes Kanter, and they drafted Romeo Langford, Grant Williams, Carson Edwards, Tremont Waters. But they lost Kyrie Irving, Terry Rozier, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, and Aaron Baines.
That could be a starting lineup on an NBA team.
Yeah.
Like
so,
a competing one.
My opinion for this, I gave the Celtics a B- because on paper, the last year's Celtics team was better. Like, on paper, it's a better team, like talent-wise. But I feel like this team, with adding Kemba Walker, they'll have more chemistry and they'll perform better.
You think they will have a better record?
I don't know necessarily that, but they'll be more of a team.
Will they have more success? Will they get past the second round?
Okay, I feel like they'll have a better record, but I don't think they'll do better in the playoffs.
Okay. I gave them a C+. They just lost too much offense, I think. I mean, Kyrie, Terry Rozier at the bench, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, Aaron Baines, all guys that can score the ball. And they picked up Kemba Walker, which was a good save, but obviously Kyrie Irving, he was never coming back after February. I think that was a done deal, but you got to try and maybe keep Al Horford. Like, I don't know, that was weird. That kind of just fell out of, it came out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he's on the Sixers. Marcus Morris, he needed to maybe go get him. But I think they did a good job with what they were given, and a lot of teams did that this year, and we'll get to that later. Next, we're going to have the Brooklyn Nets. They're my number one team for the offseason.
Yeah.
Them and the Clippers. But they obviously added Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, DeAndre Jordan, and a couple role players with Wilson Chandler and Taurean Prince. Drafted Nicholas Claxton, Jalen Hands. And they lose D'Angelo Russell, Damari Carroll, Ed Davis, Rondé Hollis Jefferson. Those are the really only notable ones. A+.
Yeah, because not only did they sign Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, two of the biggest players in this free agency, but they also got some really solid role players to help them.
I saw on ESPN the other day, some analyst said this could be too risky for the Nets because KD's hurt, and what if he never comes back to what he was? What, do you just not want to sign Kevin Durant?
Yeah.
You just want to get Kyrie Irving and be a 4 seed for the rest of his career.
Or you can sign Kevin Durant.
Or get a duo and be a title contender in 2 years. Okay, if he's still not what he was, he's still going to be a good player. That you're still going to be elite. I don't know. ESPN analysts, there's a lot of bad ones, guys. Maybe fix that. So both A+.
Yep.
Next we have other end of the spectrum, the Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets, I gave them an F.
Yes, they added Terry Rozier, drafted P.J. Washington, lost Kemba Walker, Jeremy Lamb, Frank Kaminsky.
Yeah, I don't think P.J. Washington is really like a splash for the 12th pick.
I mean,
it's not. It's like a fine
it's a
pick.
solid
It's not.
pick.
It's not like a flashy.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They always suck at drafting, so I'm assuming he's going to be bad.
And
I'm
then
kidding though.
They lost Kemba.
So Kemba Walker
Yeah.
was willing to take a pay cut for them to sign more free agents.
Mm.
So I guess the Hornets' interpretation of a pay cut was way less than the max.
Yeah.
It was what was it?
Like 20 mil under.
No, I think it was more. I think it was 40 mil under.
40 mil.
That's not good.
Your best player.
If you
willing
knew
to
you weren't
take
going to
that.
give him the max, why didn't you trade him in February?
Yeah.
Why didn't I don't? And then they go and sign Terry. It was a sign and trade with the Celtics. Terry Rozier for Kemba Walker. Terry Rozier had a good moment in the playoffs when Kyrie was out.
Yeah.
Did not
He
live up to expectations last year, and now they've highly overpaid him.
3 years,
Hornets
$58 million.
fans, I'm sorry, your team is looking bad right now.
Yeah.
And they got the only F on my grade.
Yeah, same.
Next is the Chicago Bulls. Didn't really do much. Signed Thaddeus Young, Tomas Satoransky. Drafted Kobe White though. I like that pick. He started to grow on me. Watched him play in summer league a little bit. Daniel Gafford played really good in summer league. They lost Robin Lopez. Yeah, I gave them a B.
That's exactly what I gave them.
Just they didn't need to do anything special. They needed to
Yeah.
just keep their core together and help them grow.
Mm.
And with the additions that they made, Thaddeus Young could be a mentor to Wendell and Laurie. I really like.
They needed to draft a guard. Plus, they needed to draft a guard because they obviously didn't think Chris Dunn was the point guard of the future, so they had to get Kobe White, and I think he fits well for them.
Yeah,
Look good in summer league.
yeah. They're moving on from Chris Dunn. He was not their franchise point guard. He just wasn't. They needed somebody different. Next, we got the Cavs.
Yeah.
Didn't really sign any free agents. They did not sign any free agents, actually. Drafted Darius Garland, Dylan Windler, and Kevin Porter Jr. I think they had a top two, maybe top three, maybe top two draft out of any
Yeah,
team.
that'd be great.
Darius Garland, I'm really high on him. I think he's got a lot of potential to be an elite scorer in this league. Dylan Windler went to Belmont. A lot of people don't know who he is, but he's a great shooter and he can play basketball. And then they took a flyer in Kevin Porter Jr. He was a lottery pick, and then he slid all the way down to 30.
The Thunder were gonna take him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if he went 15. And he
Yeah,
went
I
30. I gave the Cavs a B+. They're not going to sign any free agents. I mean, there's no point of doing that because you're not a destination. You're not going to get anybody good. So they went through the draft and they got 3, I think, really good picks that can contribute. Now their next step is they need to trade Kevin Love, get more picks, get more draft selections so that they can build for the future. And I just think they did what they were supposed to do this offseason.
So what do you give him?
B+.
I give him a B-.
Why?
Just because they didn't really do a lot, but they didn't really have to. They did well in the draft.
Yeah, they did really well in the draft.
Yeah, so I give him a B-. Just they didn't really do anything flashy. B-.
Mavericks, they didn't do much either. They signed Steph Curry, DeLon Wright, and Boban. Those are 3 solid role players. Good signings. Drafted Isaiah Roby from Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
Don't even know if he's going to be on the roster. Hopefully he is.
Looked good in summer league.
Looked really good in summer league. Obviously they lost Dirk. Then they extended Kristaps, so he won't be a restricted free agent next year. Dwight Powell they extended, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber. I give them a B+. I think they really.
I gave them a C just because they didn't really do anything. They just re-signed players.
Just because teams don't do anything doesn't mean that's a bad grade. You've said that a lot now.
It's not horrible, but I'm
C
not
is
gonna give
not
them
a
a
good
high.
grade.
I'm not gonna give them a high rate. I'm giving them the average. C is average.
That's not average to me. I mean, C is not good for a free agency or an off season. It's not.
We have different rankings,
I guess.
different comparisons.
Um,
C is like an average.
What'd you give the Nuggets then? Nuggets didn't do much. Drafted Bull, traded for Jeremy Grant.
I give the Nuggets a B, but I might be a little biased
C.
because of Jeremy Grant.
So
And I really like the football.
in my opinion, the Mavericks did more than the Nuggets.
Really.
They re-signed. They extended 4 players, signed 3. That's 7 additions basically. The Nuggets traded for somebody and drafted somebody too. and they extended Jamal Murray, which was good. So your definition of saying the Mavericks didn't do anything and they get a C, Nuggets did a lot less. I'm not saying that the Nuggets shouldn't be a better grade than the Mavericks. I have the Mavericks as a better grade, but you have that a whole grade higher and they did less. So I'm confused on how you're rating these.
I really like Jeremy Grant. I think he'll fit well with the Nuggets. He's young. He'll fit the Jamal Murray timeline and the Jokic timeline. But
The whole timeline.
yeah, you guys got a young team, and I really like the Bull signing. I think you guys stole him, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
I would
steal the draft
been-
2 years in a row. Michael Porter Jr.
I would have been happy if the Thunder took Bull,
Yeah.
our pick, but
Detroit Pistons. They
Pistons.
signed Derrick Rose, Markieff Morris, drafted Sequoia Duomboya. Still don't know how to pronounce that, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
What'd you give them?
I gave them a B
I gave them a B minus.
because I think
Similar to like the Cavs, but not really. They're not rebuilding. They just need to. They signed a couple role players. I think actually they had a great offseason.
Derrick Rose is really gonna help them. 'Cause
Yeah.
now they have Derrick Rose, Blake Griffin,
they're-
Andre Drummond.
They're a borderline
'Cause
playoff.
they really didn't have a good point guard at first.
Yeah,
they had Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, they had Reggie Jackson.
Who Derrick Rose is,
They needed a
Definitely
score.
step
They
up.
needed a score.
and Derrick Rose.
They needed a
that
good
guy.
guard play, and Derrick Rose could be that.
Saku's a great draft pick, though.
A lot of potential.
Yeah.
Really hasn't shown consistency, but
Mhm.
he'll get there. Golden State Warriors.
Warriors.
On paper, it looks like they had a horrific offseason. They lost their best player, Kevin
Mhm.
Durant. But I think that was inevitable also.
Yeah.
They lost Andre Iguodala, also DeMarcus Cousins, Sean Livingston, Jordan Bell. But they got D'Angelo Russell. They salvaged the Kevin Durant leaving by getting D'Angelo Russell. That's a top 5 move of the offseason. Signed Willie Cauley-Stein. I think that's a
Yeah.
great signing. He's going to fit right in. Traded for Amari Spellman. That was a great trade.
Mhm.
Still confused on why the Hawks did that. I gave them an A minus. They had a good offseason for what they were given. They played the card. They were dealt.
Yeah. I also gave them
They
an A
just
minus
Did exactly
because
what they should.
losing Durant was a given.
I mean,
Because-
we didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But behind closed doors, there were signs early in the
Yeah.
season. Draymond and him were butting heads. You could just
Mhm.
see it. Yeah. Houston Rockets just traded for Westbrook last week. Really haven't done much other than that.
Yeah.
This is basically grading the trade.
I might be a little biased, but
What?
I give him an A minus.
I gave him a B plus.
Because I'm a big Westbrook fan. I think he'll do great things. He's back with his former teammate, James Harden. They might have trouble sharing the ball because they're both very ball dominant point guards. They always
Top 2 usage rates in the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So, I gave him a B plus. I don't know if it was a move they had to do,
Mm.
but it was a move that didn't make them worse. But they won't win a title.
No.
There's no chance. They weren't winning a title before. We've had this discussion. They're going to be a good. I'm not saying they're going to be a bad regular season team. They're going to make the playoffs, top 4 seed probably,
Mhm.
and they won't have success in the playoffs. That it just doesn't work like that. You can't have 2 completely ball dominant players on the same team.
Yeah.
And unless one of them is willing to take a step back, Russ started to do that, but even then, he really regressed when he did that for Paul George. He couldn't make a 3-point shot.
He did
which-
try giving the keys to Paul George, but
I mean, it worked out for Paul George,
Yeah.
not really for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
maybe Westbrook needs to say, well, then now it didn't work for me, so I'm going to go back to what I was, and now James Harden's screwed, Indiana Pacers. They had a sneaky good offseason.
I think,
Sneaky
yeah.
good at offseason. They added T.J. Warren, Malcolm Brogdon, great signing. Jeremy Lamb, T.J. McConnell. They now have 3 TJs on their team.
really,
T.J. McConnell, T.J. Warren, T.J. Leaf.
it was gonna be TJ Leaf.
And they drafted Goga Batazzi,
Mm.
fan favorite around here. We love Goga.
Oh yeah.
They lost
media
Darren Collison, surprise retiring. Tyreek Evans, suspension, so that's 2 you can't really do. Bojan was leaving, I think, Thad Young. Yeah, I gave them an A minus.
Really.
I really love what they did because now they've cemented themselves as a top 4 team in the East, with some teams falling out like the Raptors, potentially the Celtics. I don't know. I think they could contend for an Eastern Conference Finals bid not a finals.
I'm not as high on them as you, but
I really like the
did give them a B because Brogdon's a great signing. I don't know how they got him. Fits in well with them.
Yeah, they were connected to D'Angelo Russell for a while, and I don't know if they would have got him if he didn't go to the Warriors, but potentially yes.
Something good.
Which would have been really good. Los Angeles Clippers, we don't need to say much about this. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Mo Harkless. Drafted two Florida State guys, Terrence Mann and Kevin Gelly.
Oh yeah,
You love Terrence.
I love me some Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna be great.
Did they overpay for Paul George?
5 first-round picks is a lot, but if you're gonna get a superstar, an MVP candidate,
Mhm.
and a great defender in Paul George, I think that's what you have to do.
No one's going to score on this team.
Not a chance.
Pat Bev,
Kawhi Leonard,
Paul George, Montrezl Harrell. Like,
it's a great defensive
their starting
team.
lineup is going to probably
They
be.
can score the ball too.
Their starting lineup is going to be Pat Bev, Landry Shamet,
Oh yeah.
Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, in either order. And
I think Montrez comes off the
Zubac.
bench.
Yeah, it'll be Zubac starting.
Zubac.
And it'll be Lou Williams. They still have him.
And Montrez off the bench.
That's so good. And then Mo Harkless, great role player.
Yeah.
Started for the the Trailblazers in the playoffs. Yeah, this team, I think they're the favorites for the title.
For sure.
A lot of fans are high on the next team though, the Lakers.
The Lakers.
Got Anthony Davis, lost out on the Kawhi sweepstakes. I don't know if they really had a chance. Did they ever?
I think he was playing with him. I think it was because they had to wait for him just in case.
I love it.
So they couldn't
power
sign-
move from Kawhi.
So they couldn't sign those good role players. I mean, they still
They still
They
did.
still
He could have
did.
waited longer.
He
Should have waited longer. He could still be a free agent right now.
He could,
Wouldn't hurt him. Why not?
and they wouldn't have Danny Green.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And DeMarcus Cousins and Avery Bradley.
Everyone else would have
and Quinn Cook.
signed somewhere else. It's like, if we're not your priority,
Mm-hmm.
we're walking.
So now they do get a lot of good role players, and I give them an A.
Mm.
Obviously, the trade for Anthony Davis was gonna happen, and then they made really good role players signed because of Kawhi Leonard not signing with them. But it could have been an A plus if Kawhi went there easily. Probably was an A plus because Anthony Davis and Kawhi in one off season. That's insane.
Mm.
So
I gave them an A minus just because they did give up a lot of assets for AD.
come on, it's Anthony Davis.
It is
top
Anthony
5
Davis,
player.
and what else did I guess? And if they weren't like so focused on Kawhi, which they probably had to be focused on Kawhi, they could have signed a little bit of better role players. It's like Jared Dudley's not like a splash.
Memphis Grizzlies are the next team. Added Dwight Howard, Andre Iguodala, who's going to get traded. Josh Jackson, Grayson Allen, Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, they traded him. DeAnthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Solomon Hill, Miles Plumlee. Drafted John Morant and Brandon Clark. Lost Mike Conley.
Yeah,
What'd you give them?
I gave them a B minus just because
Wow.
I really like John Morant.
You really like John Morant.
I think.
I gave them an A minus.
Oh really?
This is
When you lose Mike Conley, which he doesn't fit the timeline,
He-
but that's still a great player for them.
we were trading him either way, and
Yeah.
they got Grayson Allen, Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver. They traded him, but they got stuff in return,
That's
including
true.
Josh Jackson. They got their young players. Tyus Jones is young. Grayson Allen is young. Josh Jackson is young. DeAnthony Melton is young. Miles Plumlee is still fairly young. They drafted John Morant and Brandon Clark, Summer League MVP, and John Morant still hasn't even played yet.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the bottom half
Team of the
teams,
future.
the worst 15 teams, best offseason. Best offseason, and it's not even close in my opinion.
All right.
I don't know how, but B minus. Wow.
I mean, I didn't see it in the same light as
And
you.
they got picks too. They got picks for Kyle Korver. They're gonna get picks for Iguodala, Dwight Howard even. Or no,
Yeah,
I think they're
guess.
gonna waive Dwight. They might waive Dwight. Pretty sure. Buyout. I don't know.
I thought they had a great draft. I didn't think they did a whole lot in free agency. You
They
did
didn't.
apparently.
They didn't do a whole lot in free agency, but they did a lot in trades. Traded for Josh Jackson, Grayson Allen, Jay Crowder, Andre Iguodala, who's going to give them stuff, DeAnthony Melton. They did sign Tyus
Yes.
Jones, which is a great signing. That's the only player they actually signed.
I guess I do see some. I mean, the names didn't really excite me. That's why.
They're young,
But yeah,
that's
I
what
guess.
they need. They need young players.
I guess you're right.
Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler, Myers Leonard coming in and lost Hassan, Josh Richardson, and then they drafted Tyler Hero and KZ Opala.
This is controversial. My
What?
rating. I gave them a B.
I gave it a B plus.
Oh, okay. Well, just because, I mean, they did get Jimmy Butler, which is a great
Mhm.
play for them. I think he'll fit in well there. And Harrow is one of my favorite rookies. I've said that
He's
for a while.
looking good in summer.
But they lost out on Westbrook. Like, this team could have been so much better if they had
Yeah.
Westbrook. Because they need a point guard.
They weren't willing to give up. Who do you think? Justice Winslow.
Probably Tyler Harrow. They
Yeah,
said
that
they
too.
weren't DMing Harrow or Winslow.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's
But-
not worth it.
Was it worth it for the Heat though? Like really, realistically, Jimmy and Russell never really.
They could
been
contend in
friends.
the East.
I don't know about contend. I really don't think they would have been all that good. I think they would have been a replay of the Thunder. Honestly, you're telling me you take Jimmy Butler over Paul George?
No.
Exactly. I don't think they would have done anything.
But I mean,
anyways.
the Heat have better, like, bench and role players than the
I don't
Thunder
think
do.
so. No. Steven Adams.
Steven Adams is good.
Who's the Heat? Steven Adams.
Bam Adebayo, I guess, but
Not even near.
But, I mean-
the quality of Steven Adams.
yeah, well, yeah. But we have all
Jeremy
our
Grant.
eggs in
Who's
one
their
basket.
Jeremy Grant?
You guys have Jeremy Grant.
But you did
Oh,
have Jeremy Grant.
okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I guess Jeremy Grant would be Bam Adebayo, and then like Steven Adams would be just as. good
All I'm
as-
saying is the Thunder would have been a better team than the Heat would have been if they traded for Russell Westbrook, and we saw how it worked out for the Thunder.
You're right.
I'm not saying it would happen for the Heat. I'm not saying that, but it potentially could.
Yeah.
Milwaukee Bucks, C minus.
I give him a C plus.
They did not have a good offseason.
They did not.
Some of it was not in their control. Mirotic leaving to go play with FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
They lost out on Malcolm Brogdon. Come on, you got to get him back. And then re-signed Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and George Hill. But
Huge contracts.
didn't draft anybody. They got Robin Lopez and Wesley Matthews. They didn't do good. They didn't do
Yeah,
good. And this was
they
an
didn't.
important offseason for them to cement themselves as contenders.
They're not
They
getting
still
a lot.
are. They still are.
Yeah.
But they could have done a lot.
I think they
more.
need more help around Giannis besides Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez. They want to like
They
really
still have
contend.
Bledsoe.
They want to win a championship. They're gonna need.
I think they
another-
still easily can, but they could have really
Yeah.
cemented themselves as the favorites, even over the Clippers, if
Yeah.
they did stuff. And
They
they
did
could have.
something.
They could have. They
Yeah.
could have. It's not like they just were handcuffed by salary. I mean, that's not what it was.
Yeah.
They just didn't do anything.
Aggressive.
Timberwolves. Not a lot here.
Yeah.
Not really much to do anyways. Drafted Jarrett Culver. That was
Yeah.
the headliner. I gave him what did I give him? Gave him a C plus.
I give him a B minus. Just
Yeah. I mean,
I like Jared Goldberg a
yeah,
lot.
it was a good pick. Good pick to trade up to.
Yeah. But they lost D Rose.
Yeah,
Heart and soul.
I don't think it's going to
Not
be
the heart
that
and
much
soul
of
team,
a.
but for fans,
L.
it's heart and soul of the team. So I feel like their watch rate will probably go down a little bit, but I don't think they care about that too much.
New Orleans Pelicans
Pelicans.
obviously made the trade with Anthony Davis to the
Pelicans had a
Lakers, so they got a
great
lot of
offseason.
assets.
I gave them an A.
I did too. They're borderline A plus.
Yeah,
I
boy,
mean,
that's what I was thinking about. But like,
you
my
get-
A plus was
easily getting the best rookie,
Clippers.
and then you're getting Lonzo Ingram, JJ Redick, Derek Favors, Josh Hart. That's an
They got a
offseason.
lot back.
They got a lot, and picks too.
And-
Don't forget
and now
those.
they have a great talent.
Jackson Hayes is a great player. He's
Nickeil
looking
Alexander
good.
Walker?
Yes, they did really
Jeez.
good, and they lost Elfrid Payton, Julius Randle, but they didn't need them at this point. A really good offseason. You know what? I'm gonna change it. A plus. A plus for the New Orleans Pelicans. That was insane offseason.
They turned their nothingness out with AD because they
Mhm.
weren't going to contend
Yeah.
into contending in 3-4 years.
Yeah. Next is the Knicks. Gave them a D.
Yeah, the Knicks did not have
I
a
didn't
good
give them an
offseason.
F because they did better. They recovered unlike the Hornets. They made some signings that were at least
Yeah.
solid.
I give them C minus.
I gave them a D because they just struck out on everybody and they made the trade. I gave them a D because of the Porzingis trade.
Okay.
They were banking on the fact that they would get KD, Kyrie, Kemba.
No, they didn't.
They didn't get any of
They
them. They
got
got
Julius
Julius Randle,
Randle,
Bobby Portis, and
Reggie
can we
Bullock.
please stop signing power forwards? Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson,
I mean, they're the new Sixers.
Marcus Morris. They
Back
got
when
Marcus
they were
Morris.
just drafting centers left and right.
Yeah.
Gee. Joel
Um,
Embiid, Nerlens Noel,
Jaleel Okafor.
Jaleel Okafor. Man, they just.
Next, we have your Thunder. I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Oh gosh! All right.
I'm just gonna let you talk. See what.
I gave us an A because there's talks about Westbrook leaving us, wanting a trade because he wasn't happy. I mean, he loves OKC, but he wants to win a championship.
Yeah.
And Paul George, he wants to win a championship too. That's why they teamed up together, but it wasn't working out. But we did get a lot of picks out of Paul George and Russell Westbrook, and we got Chris Paul, who we're trying to trade. I don't know if we'll be able to trade him because he is so old and nobody really wants him at this point. Maybe a contender will. But yeah, and it's the end of an era, which is really sad to see. But
Yeah. It's unfortunate
yeah,
because those two had a connection. You
Mm.
could just see when Paul George resigned, Russell was throwing a party already.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But it only lasted one more year after that. It came out of nowhere.
mm-hmm.
It's not like they were upset with the organization whatsoever.
Yeah.
They knew they weren't, with looking at the other team's talent, they weren't going to win a championship.
Yeah. So they
And
had-
Paul George got the call from Kawhi Leonard,
Mhm.
come play with me in LA, or Toronto. Which, speaking of that,
Toronto.
why didn't Toronto
So
take this?
Pascal Siakam for Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Pascal's a great player, but he's not.
It's really a trade. You're getting Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook for Pascal Siakam.
Yeah.
What is?
There must have been some other thing.
There must have been some-
But it's not to that
something.
point.
I don't know.
It's-
And now
it can't-
do they think, no, Kawhi will still re-sign with us. We're confident in that. We don't want to give up Pascal. We want Kawhi and Pascal. But secretly,
you could
Kawhi's
have-
like, no, I'm not coming to you if
I
you
want
don't get Paul
Paul
George.
He has to have Paul George.
They were
That
that
is the
confident.
worst
Yeah,
general management I've ever seen.
yeah, that is bad.
You could get two
and he just
All-Stars.
had the best general management of the year by trading for
You
Kawhi.
could have two All-Stars for a borderline All-Star,
Yeah,
and you don't take it.
I don't know.
Pascal's got a lot of potential. He's not going to be a Russell Westbrook, Paul George.
Yeah. Next we have the Magic. Let's go rapid fire now.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on.
Grade C for me, didn't do much.
Yeah,
Re-signed
what I give them,
Vucevic
I
for
gave
less than
them-
the max, which I don't know what Vucevic is thinking.
Yeah, I gave him a C too. They just re-signed players.
Yeah,
No.
not there. 76ers did. They get the award for weirdest signing of the year with Al
Yeah,
Horford.
Al Horford. And,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But they got a B plus for me. That was
I also gave him a B plus.
Yeah, I mean, if they got Jimmy back, that would have been nice. Get that grit
Yeah.
back and the leader that
The
they
Josh
need.
Richardson
We'll
is a
see
good
how
filler
this,
for them.
this is going to be the tallest starting lineup of all time.
It's gonna be
Ben Simmons,
huge.
Josh Richardson, Tobias Harris, Al Horford, and Joel Embiid. That's
Huge.
insanely huge. That's a solid defense.
Josh Richardson's the smallest player on the court. For
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Insane.
yeah.
He can play small forward.
Suns D, horrible.
But I give him signed.
Signed Ricky Rubio, don't know why. Traded for Dario Saric, don't know why. Signed Aaron Baines, or traded for Aaron Baines, don't know why.
I gave him C.
Drafted Cameron Johnson, literally have no idea why they did that. That was the worst pick of the draft. Unless he comes out with something, but
I gave him a C.
Wow.
Just, I think Oubre back on the Suns, and you got
Well,
Dario.
that wasn't an off-season move.
I guess Dario,
Oh wait, yeah, it was. Never mind. It's just
Yeah.
not listed here.
and Dario's not a bad player. I think he could.
But they traded down from the 6th pick to get him.
Yeah, you're right.
They could have gotten Jarrett Culver
I did forget about that. Yeah.
or Kobe White. They could have drafted Kobe
Yeah,
White.
they could have had a great
Draft
trade,
Kobe
and
White.
they got Cameron Johnson
Yeah.
for Dario. Yeah, okay, I forgot about that. Okay.
Trailblazers had a solid offseason.
Trailblazers.
B minus for me. Drafted Nasir Little,
Yeah.
that was a flyer. Got Hassan Whiteside, Kent Bazemore. They did lose Seth Curry, Enes Kanter, Evan Turner, Mo Harkless.
Yeah.
So that
I gave him
really hurt.
C.
Yeah, I don't know about a C, but I gave him a B minus. Not
I was
the best.
fine. Yeah.
5 left. Kings. You were mad at the Kings.
Yeah, they
What?
They lost Willie, and they overpaid Harrison and some other guys that.
Okay, but the thing is, the Kings are on a free agent destination. They need to sign these
Sure.
type of players. They need Harrison Barnes, and that's
But
the
they're
only money
not.
he was going to
They're
take.
not
from them.
contending with Harrison Barnes.
They need to
Corey
be
Joseph.
patient. They need to be patient.
Those
they
aren't
need
just-
to wait on Cauley Stein or not Cauley Stein.
They lost
De'Aaron-
with Cauley Stein.
That's not what I meant to say. De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley. They
Yeah.
needed to trade Cauley Stein or they needed to lose Cauley Stein because they want Bagley playing the 5. But Cauley Stein was never going to come back to the Kings. So
Corey
don't
Joseph
even
is
mention
your
that.
signing. You're gonna sign him for $12 million. You're
Yes,
gonna sign
that's a
Harrison
solid
Barnes
sign.
for $40 million.
Yes, they have to because there's no other. They can't sign any other free agents. They have to do
I
that.
mean, I guess they're
what
not
are you gonna?
contending.
They're not. They have to spend the money somewhere.
They're not
Trevor
contending.
Ariza, They would. How would they be contending next year? Explain how they would do that.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. You're right.
They did what they needed to do, and they
They
got a
need
B plus for
tank more.
Tank more. They were borderline playoffs.
They are, but they're not going to do much being the 8th seed.
But then the next year they could be the 6th seed as De'Aaron Fox starts progressing, Bagley starts to
Okay,
progress,
Yeah, all right.
and Buddy Hield gets better. Wow, they look good.
They have a good
My
young
opinion.
core. I like their team.
San Antonio Spurs didn't do much. B plus, maybe even a B. Signed Trey Lyles, not much.
I gave him
No.
a C.
Yeah.
No notable moves whatsoever.
Just yeah. Raptors D minus. As we just said, we don't really need to go over this.
Yeah, I gave him a C minus.
It should be way lower than a C
Yeah,
minus.
probably should. Probably should be a D.
Yeah. 2 left. Utah Jazz A. Great offseason.
Give him an A as well. Bogdanovich and Conley.
And Ed Davis, Jeff Green, solid signings. Only they lost Derek Favors, Corver, Rubio, Neto.
They got
They don't matter that
solid.
much. Great
You got
offseason.
Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, Bogdanovich. That's a great team.
They're the sleeper
Yeah.
contenders. Sleeper contenders.
Of course.
Last team, we need to do this quickly. Isaiah Thomas for the Wizards. That was their best signing.
I give him a C.
And they drafted
C
Rui.
minus.
Rui was not a good pick. I gave him a C plus, which I'm kind of changing. That
I give
to
him a C minus. Rui, I like Rui.
No, I
but
don't.
like
At 9, I don't.
I don't like him at 9. I like Rui, not at
Better
9.
players there. Better players there.
Could have gotten a whole lot better
Yes.
than that. Rui's like a 12, 14. He's a lottery player. He's like a low lottery player though.
Yeah. Anything else
Double
you want to say? Rest in peace to the Thunder.
Yeah. End of
See
an
you,
era.
5th graders. They were looking for 5th graders. They're already scouting for 2026.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it.
All right. Make sure to like and subscribe. See you next time.